Okay, I'm gonna load up one of the layouts from the samples folder. I don't know if some of you already looked at that stuff, but there's like basic 5 layouts. I'm gonna choose it's the ones are on the S drive, samples, sets, and it's there's like 5 FBX files in there. Okay, so I'm gonna use this one, underground. Open Alt X. There shouldn't be any animation. It doesn't really matter. Oh, this guy, huh? Maybe not. I'll choose the other one. There's another one. Dark City. Okay. This one is better because it has some VFX. A little pipe with smoke. So this one is like just a dark alley. So, okay. So first thing, this one, if you start seeing this, each perspective or each camera view inside Motionbuilder has a near and far plane. Okay, just give me a second. Just want to see if yeah. So near and far plane, it will, if they're small numbers, they will start giving you these kind of things. Okay. So the way to fix this, so right now we're in producer perspective. If you go in the navigator, camera section, and open up the perspective, producer perspective, double click on it actually, you will see a bunch of settings here. Okay. You just need to tweak the near and far plane right over here. So near would be the smallest number, I would put 1. And far, I would maximize it, put like 9 6s or something like that. Okay. So now, there's no more clipping. Also, I want to hide the grid. You should hide it for the render as well, but I'm going to hide it from now so I don't see it. It's in the same panel. It's called grid. So I'm just going to hide this so I don't see it at all. And then I have my beautiful alley sort of lit. Yeah. Okay. So before I merge in any character, I'm going to do the same thing as we were doing before with the character. I'm going to freeze the mesh so I don't keep selecting it because I'm not going to animate the building. The set should be frozen. So the way to do this is you go in Scene, Master Dark City. So this is basically a node that contains all the layout. I highly suggest you do the same. Let's say for your previews later, you decide to download something from the web, and it has like 50 different pieces, the layout. Make a null, and parent-child these ones. So I'll show you, actually, I'll show you how to do it. It's pretty simple. So if you go in Templates, this one is already done, so you don't have to worry about it. Elements. And there should be a null object here. You just drag and drop it. And if I go display X-ray, you will see this little null, okay, in the scene. So I'm going to put it to 0, 0 in the world. This way it's not off the center. So right now, because right now it's like 1,000 meters, 2,277. So I'm just going to put it at 0, 0. And then it's sort of a little bit central. You can still move it to be more central with the layout. So then what you do, so imagine there's no parent right now. Let's say all the pieces, there's 50 pieces are listed here, right? Just like this, okay? So all you do is you select all the pieces, okay? and you hold left click and drag to that new null you just created. I will give you a small pop-up. You just go parent. So now the null that was existing in the scene is child of the one you just created. Okay? So now if you move this new null, you move everything. So I highly suggest doing this because it's sort of like the grouping in Maya. I don't know if you went through that with the Maya class. It's the same idea. But you have a parent-child constraint. So I'm going to call this layout. Minimize. And then to freeze this, I'm going to right-click on that node and go down all the way to the bottom and select branches. What select branch? It will select all the children. Okay? I go in groups. Same thing as we were doing with the characters. Go in groups. Go create. And then double click on it to rename it. Call it layout. So now the advantage of this, you can hide it. Whoops. You just left click and drag on top of the parent, on top of the null. You get a warning about something about materials. Hi. Okay. Don't worry about it. I don't know what you cannot undo this operation. Whatever. Yes. Yes. Always. It's something about the materials. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I don't know what this thing is. Yeah, this is totally new. So okay, so you don't have to do that step unless you do download the layout from from the web. But technically, you shouldn't have gotten that message. I don't know what is it exactly. Sorry? Just like that? Okay. I don't want to spend the whole time on textures and materials because that's not the... Okay, let me see. I'm going to restart. So, sets dark city. That's the problem with every version. They introduce new things. Camera, perspective, hide the grid, and near and far plane. Okay. One. Before you enter the number, the near and far? I'm just going to try to create a group from this, because technically it should be the same. Select branches, group, create, layout. And now, show hide. Okay, same problem. I don't know. I'm not going to spend the whole class trying to debug this. I'll look into it after. Don't worry about it. If you lose the textures if you have the same problem, don't worry about it. Okay, so now the advantage is you deselect pick and translation. So now you can select it by mistake. That's the whole point of it. Don't worry, I'm not going to grade you on textures and stuff like that, so don't worry about it. Okay, so so now I'm ready to add my characters. Okay, before we do that, I'm going to save this scene, save as. Not in NIMS, I'm going to save it in assembly. So I'm going to call my Dark City film, whatever. Doesn't matter. Save always in increments. 0, 1, 0, 2. Like every couple of hours, just add the number 0, 2, 0, 3, because just in case Motionbuilder decides to corrupt your scene or there's no backup, you have the increments. Okay, so keep that in mind. Yeah. There is an autosave. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If you go in settings, preferences, it's in C Windows temp. No. Let me see. No, actually, it's in the same folder. Let me see if I save again. Yeah, it's in the same folder as where you're saving your scene. So if you saved your scene in Joe Mobu assembly, this is Dark City film, it will create a folder. Every time you do Control S, it will create a backup. It will create a folder called .back inside that same folder, and you will get 01.001. So that's sort of your backup. If it crashes, it's in somewhere else. It's in you found it? Yeah, every version they change it. So we're working with the new one today. See, users? What else? Documents. Oh, there we go. Perfect. So it should be in here, right? Well, I haven't crashed yet. So if you crash and you get a pop-up saying, do you want to save a backup? Click yes, and it will be there. See users, your name, documents, MB 2018 X64. Okay? So click yes. It's okay, keep working with the same, we'll copy paste the backup file back into your right folder and keep working with it. You shouldn't, but for now, I'll fix it for you in class. You need to work with a clean file, because if you keep crashing and you're on the same file, it might be a problem later. So my suggestion is keep working with it, or save your animation and load it on a clean scene. Okay? Anyways, if it happens, let me know and I'll suggest something for you. Okay? Usually it's better if you save your animation like this when there's a character, and load it on a fresh scene, because sometimes the auto backups are corrupted and you're adding more corruption on top of it. But that's why increments work, because if you crash, you can roll back to 2 hours before or 1 hour before. It's always better to do increments. So 0, 1, 0, 2. So think of it as your own backup plan. Okay? Every software crashes. So this is sort of a workaround. Okay, so we saved the film, the assembly file. I'm ready to add some characters. So I'm gonna go in Asset Loader, Asset Browser, Characters. I'm gonna add Aragorn. I'm gonna merge it because I don't want to open it. If I open it, I'm gonna lose the layout. So I'm gonna merge and go in Options. Options is super important here because I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm doing in Options. Go in Options. Keep the plus append. It's okay. Take 01 is good because you want to merge on the same take that you're on in the scene. Okay. Chances are, if you do it like this, your take will be the same name, but just double check, because if you rename this one to, let's say, Mixamo, you need to rename this one as well to Mixamo. You can change the name here. But in this case, they both match, so you don't need to do anything. The important step here before you click merge is you need to apply a namespace. Okay. What a namespace is like a prefix behind the character. Because let's say you have in your scene later on 5 different characters, and you don't have a namespace, all the characters will be named character 1, character 2, character 3. You're not going to be able to like visually distinguish which one is which, unless you have a good memory and you know Aragorn is character 1 and Pepe is character 2, whatever. So highly suggested use a namespace. So click on this guy and then enter. Use a new namespace. And I'm going to put Aragorn. Okay. Merge. So he's going to be smack in the middle. Okay. He doesn't have a control rig yet, so I'm going to give him a control rig. Okay, as you can see here in the character drop-down list, we have, this is the namespace that you just created. It's namespace, semicolon, Aragorn. Okay. I'm gonna try to do the same thing with the control rig. So I'm gonna right click on the go in navigator, because right now his character here is called Aragorn, but his control rig is just control rig. So I want to add that same namespace. Right click on control rig. There's an option under rename called add remove namespace. So click on this, add, and just highlight Aragorn. Okay, and down here you should you should select apply branch. Let's give it a shot. I haven't done this in a while. Perfect. So now see, look what happened. He has that namespace also in the control rig name, right? But all the control bones have Aragorn control blah blah blah. Aragorn control hips. So now that namespace is applied to everything. I'm just gonna double check if the skeletons as well. Yeah, the skeletons as well. The skeleton underneath. Yeah, see? We have Aragorn. It's easy to see. If you, let's say, decide to delete as well, this will help you restart from scratch if you have to. So we have one character. I'm gonna add. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing before I add anything. I think this guy has multiple pieces. Does he have this too? Actually, I'm just going to move him aside a little bit just to see his mesh pieces so I can freeze them. Full body, and choose the feet. Move him aside, zoom in. Now I can, okay, so I believe it's all these pieces. Okay, I'm gonna freeze that mesh as well. Aragor mesh. Hopefully we got all the pieces. Yeah, that should be good. And I'm gonna add one more. Same process. I don't know, maybe an alien. Again, merge options. Take 01 matches the take we're on currently. Apply namespace, use new namespace. I'm gonna call this guy alien. Merge. This guy's cute because he has a blinky eye. Look, see? It's creepy. Yeah. Because hopefully your film will have 2 characters at the end. I mean, you don't have to, but most of you will probably have 2 or more characters. So, just to show you the process of working with 2 characters when they're interacting with each other. Okay, so I'm going to do the same with this guy. Yeah. If you drag, merge, go in options. Delete, you have to delete him from your scene here. So let's say you find the parent node, you select it, you right click, select branches, and delete. Yeah. Or easier, you can restart. Yeah. Try that. Try select branches. And then you right click again and delete. It worked? Okay. So for this guy, he should have a namespace already. So see, yeah, alien. I'm going to turn on his control rig as well. Yes. So now we have the control rig. I'm going to do the same thing. So characters, alien, control rig, this guy. Add namespace, alien. Sorry? I can't hear. So now the alien, the control rig is called alien control rig, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I'm going to do the same for the mesh. I think he only has these pieces. Create, alien, mesh. Remove these. So now, if I move this guy, that's all good. Perfect. So now, we're ready to add some motion. We'll leave the camera till the end after we've added the motion. So I'm going to move this guy here because he's going to be in the way. So what I'm going to do for this, obviously, I'm sort of ad hocing it. I'm doing it on the fly. Technically, you should have your idea before you start, right? Whether it's an animatic or whatever. But for today, I'm just gonna, so I'm gonna have Ergo run across the alleyway, turn here, stop, look around, and then the alien's gonna jump down and punch him. Okay, simple. I'm not gonna only have like an hour left, so, and all this will contain what you need to learn in terms of how to change the speed, how to work with the clips, how to work with the camera at the end, and then how to render out. Okay? Okay, so I'm gonna save this scene. And then bring in Mr. Ergor into story mode. So insert character animation track, Ergor. I'm gonna start him off with some running. So previs. I believe run forward maybe. Run straight. So this is basically what we did last week, okay? So he's running from here to here, okay? Right? Yeah. So I'm gonna turn on the ghost to see the trajectory, so I can move him to where he should be. Actually, that covers a lot of space. How fast is it? Let me see. Okay, maybe it's a bit too fast, so I'm gonna use the jog. I believe there's a jog in there. Okay. I want to show you how to loop. Yeah. Yeah, you can scale it if you go in Dark City. You know, the parent node. That's another reason why you should have a parent node for all your. Let's say it's 50 pieces. You select it, click on scale right underneath rotation, and use. Oh, okay. So if you've done your group and you took off TRS, TRS is translation rotation scale. So you need to turn it back on. Turn it back on, and then you scale it. Okay? No problem. So for Aragor, I think we're going to go with the jog. Jog straight. More casual. Even the jog is kind of long. That's okay. We'll work with this. It's okay. So I'm going to move it. I'm going to move him here. Rotate. You guys should all know this. This is not new. Okay, so the first and last pose is he goes in the wall. Okay, so I'm going to start turning. I'm going to actually loop this jog and then cut it up so I can rotate him during the jog. Okay, so way to do this is first thing I'm going to loop it, let's say 2 times. So all these clips that are in the previous folder, they're loopable because they've been saved locally. That's the other reason why last week I was telling you guys save all your clips in the anims folder, because once you bring it in story, you can loop it. You can play it many times. So by looping, I mean is this: you can grab the end and loop it twice or 3 times or how many times you want. And the advantage is with the looping is it takes the last pose in space and loops it where that loop ends. You know what I mean? So it's not like looping from the beginning, from the original position. It loops it from the existing position. So it's a great way to loop a cycle or loop like any kind of motion. Okay, so I imagine this is like enough for him to run this way and start turning here and end up somewhere here. I think it's more than enough. So what I'm going to do at this stage, I'm going to cut that straight line into like 3 pieces so I can achieve the turning. Okay? So I'm going to go back a little bit here. So let's say here he starts turning. You see this little button here called razor. So this is like in Premiere, the razor. You can cut the clip. You can slice it. You slice it. So now there's 2 clips. And what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to rotate it. Okay. So now what you get this really harsh turn. It's okay. We'll fix it. We'll fix it in a bit. Okay. So then I need another one of those in here. Maybe around here. Slice again. And let's see if we rotate this one. Yeah, I think it's okay. Let's see what that looks like. You can preview it, zoom in to a better view, and then we can see what it looks like. Clack, clack. That's it. So you can smooth that out by, just like last week, by dragging over a little bit. So what are you going to get? Is something better for the transition. You can play with this as much as you want. You can probably take this one as well and blend it over here. So you can get a bit of the previous clip and a bit of the next clip. What you could do also, Serena, I think, found it by mistake, is you can change the blend values between each clip if you need to. So if you right click, fade in interpolation, you put it to smooth, it will change the curve. You don't see it if you're far, but the curve into it will change. Only try this if you're not getting good results with the default linear interpolation, okay? It will change the curve, how it's blending into the next clip. So these are just extra options if you need to. You don't have to use them. Okay. So we did the run. So I'm gonna do now, I think I might just make him go a little bit straighter. Oh, that's okay. That's fine. Okay. So I'm gonna put a jog stop here. Okay. I'm gonna save. So imagine I've been working for an hour. I'm gonna save 02. And right here, I'm going to add a jog stop or a run stop if we can find it. Jog, jump, slide. Doesn't look, maybe there's a run stop. So actually I'll use a run stop because run downstairs, no. Okay, so I'm gonna look at the other folder in the NMs. I might be able to find the jog stop or a run stop. Mail, jog M, jog to walk, run to stand. That might do it. Let's try that. So I'm gonna trim the end of this because I don't need them to run off the layout. So I'm gonna maybe trim it up to here. I'll add the run to stand. Now let's see what that looks like. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to use the match option here, because right now this clip is off. So you can technically take this clip and use what you did last week. Move it here, try to match it sort of manually by hand. But there's another quick way option to do that. So the way to do it is you select the clip. There's a button here called match. Okay, if you click on it, you'll get this box. Match object is all the bones in your control rig. Okay, 99% of the time you want to use the hips because all the motion generates from the hips, from your center of mass. So select the hips. The other option is you want to match to the previous clip or to the next clip. You have options. So the clips are these, right? So let's say you want to, in this case, you want to match to the previous clip. Okay, there's no next clip, so by default it's previous. And match time is you want to match at the end of the previous clip, so the last frame of the previous clip. Okay. And what do you want to match? You want to match position and rotation. Sometimes you just, the two clips are facing the right way, so you're just going to match position. You don't need rotation. So, but in this case, you need both. So I'll keep both. Click OK. So what happens now is that feature just moved your clip to face the previous clip instead of you manually adjusting it. This guy, match, this button. Match options. So the reason I didn't show you this last week, because sometimes you want to use the manual process and sometimes you want to use this one. So you should know both, right? So now what's the next step with this? I want to match the footing, right? So the stop starts happening, he starts braking on this frame. So on the, let's say, left passing, say on this frame. Okay, so what do I want to match on the previous frame? I want to match as well the left passing. So it's close, so I need to add those couple of frames from the jog to get the same pose. So roughly here. Okay, so now we have this and this, they're almost identical. The reason I'm doing this is you're gonna get a way better blend. Just like we did with last week, we matched the phases of the run, right? Obviously there's a big gap here, so we're gonna move that clip in. But he's still jumping, so you need to rematch again, because when we did the first match, we had more frames, but now we deleted those frames, so you need to rematch it. Okay, so select the clip again, click match. Oh, it doesn't save the last. Okay, so choose hips again. End of previous to previous, end of previous, match rotation position. Perfect. So now, see, look at the hips. Don't worry too much about the legs. Look at the hips. The hips flow perfectly, because it's using the hips to match both clips. Okay, so to smooth it out a little bit better, I'm gonna drag the stop and a little bit over the run. So now we're taking some of the frames we deleted and blending it into the end of the jog. I said run, it's actually a jog. So what you get is a perfect, almost perfect transition. Okay, so let's see what that looks like from here. I like to use this one a lot, so I'm gonna put my frame at 84. Okay, it's a little bit fast because we're going from a jog loop to a run stand. So there's a difference in speed. So what do we do in this case? We have to slow down this one a little bit. Okay? That's another feature to keep in mind. So if you go in, if you select the clip, you go in Properties. There's a speed line at the end. So right now, this is playing at 100% of the animation. Okay? So you can either slow it down, like I said, not more than 15%. So in this case, 0.85. So it's already adjusting it because it's cutting frames, right? So it's making those frames less or more depending on your number that you put in that speed line. Okay. So if you preview this now, he's going to play way slower. Actually, that number is the lower, the slower, and the higher, the faster. It's a play rate. Think of it as a rate of playback. So we don't want slower. Actually, we do want slower because it's coming from a jog into a run. So you want the run to be a little bit slower so you can slow it down, right? If you go higher, 1.15, it's faster than the original. Yeah. I mean, you can select all the clips actually individually and make them slower and faster. So you want to slow down like the whole clip? Yeah, no, you have to do it. You have to apply the scale factor on each clip. Yeah. So we're gonna roll back to 0.85. So if you look, it's kind of flows better, right? Because originally it was something like, you see how fast? See the difference? I hope you see the difference. So that's how you do. You speed up a clip or you slow it down. Again, don't go more than 15%, because if you go like, let's say 0.75, it starts looking unnatural. Any kind of motion. Okay, so we got this guy stopping. I want to add like a small lookout, like he's looking for somebody. Story mode. I'm not sure if there's a look in here. Stand, turn left. No, I think I'm going to go back to previs. Maybe there's a look around here. Is there? I think I saw something. Oh, you found it? Okay. Okay. Yeah. Is it called L? Look? Oh, stand. Okay. Oh, yeah, this one. Okay. Cool. Thanks. Let's see what it looks like. So, where is he? Is that 0, 0? Okay. So he's here. So let's see what it looks like. Sure, that works. For today, it works. Thanks, man. So, again, same thing. We're going to match this to the previous hips. So, I'll show you a little trick before. Instead of always choosing, forget it. It's just going to complicate things. So, match hips, same options. So now he snaps to that location. I'm just going to check the blending. Yeah, he kind of pops. Guys, please. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna blend that idle over a little bit. So when he stops, he's kind of falling into the pose. So yeah, it blends a little bit better. His feet are sliding a bit. I'm gonna try to match again to see if I can fix that problem. Yeah, he moves back a little bit, which is better. Yeah, let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's good. That's acceptable. It's not that bad. So he looks around, checks things out, and then we're gonna add the surprise attack. Okay, save. So we're gonna get the alien in. Okay, so we're gonna create a track for the alien, and I want him to jump in. So let's see if there's a jump down. Yes, there is a jump down. So let's see what that looks like. So you want the jump down to happen here, right? So let's say he's looking around here, and then boom, surprise. Like my sound effects, boom. So I'm gonna move this clip here. And so where is he landing? He's landing, he's gonna probably land and face him, right? So we want him to rotate to face. So we're kind of faking things here. He's gonna be jumping from an invisible platform. So imagine he's jumping from this platform. So it's okay. It's gonna be off camera. So that's another trick for you guys. If it's off camera, you don't need to animate it. You can do a lot of cheating. This is like everybody does it in the film industry. I'll always animate to what's on camera. Yep.
When I'm adding the animation, you need to change the background on top. So I have to jump down to my first character. Like I changed the.
Okay, so he jumps in and he's facing the right way. Sure. Let's do that. Maybe face him a little bit like this. Okay. So right now the jump is like 1 meter, but I want him to jump from a higher place because if let's say I have the camera zoomed in on like him like this, I'm probably gonna see him jump from in frame. So I want it to jump higher. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this jump and add verticality to it. It's very easy. So I want to split this clip into 3 clips, which is basically the jump off, the traveling in the air is another clip, and then the landing is another one. So 3 clips. So here, technically here, split, right on the touchdown, I do another one. So we have jumping off, traveling in the air, and then landing. So I'm going to take this clip and move it up. Okay? So what's going to happen is a little pop, right? Landing I'm going to keep. I'm happy with the landing because the feet is on the ground. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to make him, I'm going to have to move this one up a little bit too. And then instead of just doing this, actually that might work. Let me see. Kinda. Let me see. Yeah, maybe I don't need this that much. I'm gonna try this guy. No. I did it last time, it worked. Oh, maybe it's this frame then. Okay, so I'll try this. Okay, so the best you have to play with this sometimes. It's not the one thing sometimes doesn't work, so you have to play with it. So the best result is after you split them, you blend the first part into the falling, and then the landing works automatically because he's already in touchdown. So if we play this now, let's see. It kind of works. It's just speeding up here. So what are you going to do? Anybody? Speed? Yep. Change the speed to a little bit slower. Let's try 85. Actually, no, you need lower, slower, higher, faster. 1.15. Or no, what did I say before? Yeah, okay. So if we go 1.5, it's going to be super slow. No. Okay, so 1.5, sorry, 0.85. Lower, slower. Why is it going faster? Lower. Oh, 1.15 was better. There's a little, okay, hiccup here. It's because it's going from 1.15 to 1. So what we can do, can try blending this into it. Yeah, it works. So sometimes there's no perfect recipe. You just gotta play with it. But in this case, we went slow. We went a little bit faster because it might be. Yeah, you just gotta play with it until it feels right. There's no perfect recipe. Okay. So we just added verticality to the jump. So I'm gonna do, after he jumps in, maybe maybe the Aragorn turns around quickly to face him. I think I saw standing turn, send turn to his left. So turn left 180. I hope there's a 180. Yeah, there's a 90. Maybe in generic motion. Oh, that was it. Stand, look around. It was in generic. Let me see in previous moves. Maybe there's a 180 in there. Yeah. Okay, we'll go the 180 with the 90, and we'll see what we can do with it. Oh, walk turn. No. Stand to turn 180 left pivot. That's it. That could be it. Let's try it. See, that's a fun part, finding the clip that you want. It's like a puzzle to put it all together. So he should be turning to his left 180 in this one. You got it. So I need to match this guy too. So match, pivot, Aragorn, boom. He's there. So this one is going to be a rough blend. Be careful. The arm is going to snap because he's not in idle perfectly. Oh, he's turning too much. So I'm going to have to maybe cut this one earlier, because at the end here, his hips are pointing sort of 20 degrees. So I'm just going to cut it a little bit, trim it up to here. It's okay. So this way, when I match it again, the rotation is going to fix itself. See? Because we removed those 20 degrees at the end. The matching on the next clip is better because it matches the last rotation on the pelvis on the previous clip. Okay. He's too early, so what we have to do is we need to push the jump earlier, so he turns almost right after the touchdown. Okay. So what you can move all of these in timeline by just selecting them and moving it backwards. So let's say touches, and then on few frames after the touchdown, Aragorn starts turning. Okay. I'm just gonna add the little few frames here so it blends. Yeah, there you go. It's quick action, so it should work. So I'm gonna test this out. It's way too slow. So what we're gonna do is speed that thing up. Select the clip, properties, faster, 1.15. Could use a little more. I wouldn't go with more than 1.2. There we go. No more than that. After that, it starts getting too Benny Hilly. Benny Hill. Anybody knows Benny Hill? Look it up. It's an old British comedy. Don't fall asleep. We're almost done. Okay, so for some reason this one is looping, so I'm just gonna remove the loop. So I don't need all this, so I'm gonna make the guy the alien attack him. So quickly, I'm gonna find a punch or a kick that has a long distance. Save my scene before. I don't know, the back fist, maybe. Maybe I'll use an uppercut. Let's try the uppercut. Okay. I'm going to put the uppercut. Does it work? Oh no, it doesn't work. Front hand? No. We need something with some distance because he needs to close that distance, right? Roundhouse? Maybe. What's a roundhouse? Oh man. Maybe a kick. Jump kick? Is that a jump kick? Yes. No. Low kick. Thought there was a jump kick and a jump punch. Well. Let's see. There we go. Superman punch it is. So, match, alien, hips, rotation, and translation. Let's see where we end up. So, boom. So he's a little bit off, so I'm gonna just rotate the clip a little bit, so Aragorn can get the punch. Oh boy. Okay, something happened there. Why is it? So sometimes the yeah, that's weird. The pivot should be right at his feet at the beginning of the clip, but for some reason it's not. So if you're having trouble with this gizmo not being where it should be, just deactivate, activate it again. I've seen this bug before. So if the pivot point of the clip is not at the beginning of the frame, it starts getting buggy. So I would just deactivate the ghost and reactivate it, and it's going to be correct. See, right now, it's where it should be. The pivot point should always be at the beginning of the clip. So it's sort of between his feet, not like halfway through the motion. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the contact. So somewhere here, I'm just gonna rotate it a little bit so you can get it in the face. And then let's see how it looks. Yeah. Yeah. No. In story mode, you can't create keys. You're just displacing things. Yeah. Yeah. Each clip can have a different position, rotation. You can have as many as you want, but there's no keys. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna just blend a little bit of the idle into this. So, ooh, what's going on there? Okay, never mind. So I'll blend this one into this. Okay, so all we're missing now is Aragorn's reaction. That's the last clip before we do the cameras. Okay? So, okay, we're going to go a bit over an hour and a half, but it's okay. The camera stuff is very simple. So we need to save. I'm going to save a third time just to show you my incremental skills. Hurt. Is there a hurt? Fall backwards. Let's try that. So obviously he's gonna get hit here, so you don't need all this. Fall backward. And match hips. And what do we got here? Yeah, there's a lot of, so we can start maybe the reaction here. So I'm gonna, let's see if that works. Yeah, it's a bit too late. So maybe I'll add one frame. It works, right? It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, so 380 is my last frame, because we're probably going to cut after that. So I'm just going to test this out. So he's looking around, jumps in, turn around, boom, in the face. That's it. So we can add a few more frames, like a settle or something. It's not important. You can add instead of the static pose, try to avoid static poses because it just looks too stiff. So maybe you can find like a combat pose that you can add here, like a victory or something like that. Okay, so that's it for the animations. I'm going to show you how to add a camera. It's pretty simple. So maybe I'll show you how to add different shots and maybe one animated camera so you know how to use animated cameras. Okay. Asset browser. Elements. Camera. You could just drag that in. You don't see it, you need X-ray mode. So cameras in Motionbuilder have two things. Each camera has the camera and the interest. Interest is the target, basically. So I highly suggest renaming your cameras with the shots. Let's say shot 1A, shot 1B. I don't know if you have a class for this to start looking at, kinda. So use whatever you're learning from the camera classes a little bit and apply it here, because it's gonna, if you have 10 cameras, it's gonna get messy. So I'm gonna add naming, so camera shot 1 or 01, and rename the interest as well, because those two things are connected. Okay, there we go. So my first shot will be, so will probably be maybe panning down from the sky to face Argo running into the shot. Yeah. I can't hear anything. In this case, I'm going to animate the interest. We're missing a few frames. I'm going to go back to the beginning. So I want to pan down to look at Aragorn in this case. So I'm going to put my interest up here somewhere. It's okay. We'll figure it out. And I'm going to move the camera. I think it's way low. So I'm going to move it up. Maybe looking at Aragorn here. Okay, so the cameras, we need to fix the resolution on the cameras. Okay? So the way to do this, you need to go in the camera section, same way as we did before for the perspective. And you see, you're going to see your camera here, camera shot 01. You don't see the interest because the interest is part of the scene category, not the camera category. Okay? That's going to confuse you a little bit, but if you want to see where the interest is, it's in the scene folder or category. Here, in the camera category is just the settings of the camera. Okay? So by default, the picture format is in custom. You need to change this to HD. You can keep it at 920, but 720, what's it, what's 1080p? 1080 by 720, is it? No, it's 1080 by 1920, but the other one is 1024 by 720. Let's double check. HD resolution. So that's the one we have. We can knock it down a little bit for rendering, so it takes less space. 1280 by 720. So 1280 by 720. So I would put the last one, save frames on. I'll show you what that is. So right now we only have one view. Okay? We need to add another view to see what the camera is looking at. Okay, guys, stay with me, please. This is important for the game. Yeah. The last thing is this one, square safe area. You'll see exactly what that does. So I need to add another sort of viewport in Motionbuilder. If you go in View, Viewer Layout, right now it's single pane. Just add another pane. Okay. So you have the perspective here, and here will be your camera, what the camera is looking at. Okay? And to change this one, you just click on it once. It's hard to see sometimes, but there's a white border, whatever you have selected. And then what do? You change the view again. And instead of perspective, you go camera shot 01, the one we just renamed. Okay, so now that's what the camera sees. This camera here in your scene. Okay. So now if you move this one, woo, you see what's going on. See it? So I highly recommend animating in perspective and just using the camera view to preview what the camera is looking at. There's ways of animating inside the camera viewport, but I don't recommend it. It could get messy. Okay? So keep it simple and just work with the perspective to animate. So I'm kind of, let's see, let's wait, let's put it here. I'm going to add a key here. Actually, I don't need the key on the interest. I'm just going to add a key on the interest, right? Yeah, I'm going to animate the interest to pan down like this. Okay. I'm going to switch because it's a little bit chuggy. I'm going to switch this to models only. Select the camera view, models only. So now it should be less chuggy. Yeah, frame rate's better. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna add a key here because I want to pan down from the top of the building to face Aragorn. Maybe like in a second or close to. That's good. I'm gonna animate him down. And another key here. So let's preview that. It's not bad. It's quick, but I'm not gonna go too picky with the camera right now because it's almost 5 o'clock. So I'm happy. Let's say I'm happy with the interest. So I need to rotate the camera here with the character. Okay. So I'm happy with this framing. I'm gonna put a key here on the camera, and now I change the selection. Put a key here, and then start rotating maybe around here to face. Actually, I can't rotate. I need to animate the target. Okay, forget about rotating the camera. I'm gonna create another shot. Okay. To look at him going that way. Okay. So I'm gonna drop in another camera. I'm supposed to name it, but I'm not gonna name it. I'm gonna skip that. You name it, but in this case, I'm not gonna name it because I'm gonna be adding like 4 different cameras, so I'm gonna skip that part. Okay. So, whoops, what's going on here? Okay. I probably selected one of the characters, so that's why it was moving. It's a little bit too, you can move both at the same time. So you can select the camera and the interest and move them up. So I want this camera to be, let's say, as soon as he starts turning, I want the camera to be facing where he's going. Okay. Please don't judge me about my cinematography skills. I'm not the best one to do that. So I want to see what that camera is looking at. So now I can change to select the camera viewport, perspective, look at the camera. So it's kind of a little bit off. So I'm going to adjust it to say, let's say, look a little bit where he's going to go. Okay. So now we go from this to this. Technically, it should work. Okay. Anyways, we'll adjust those camera positions a bit later with something called camera switcher. Okay. So we're happy with this one. I'm going to add another one to be facing where he stops. So I'm going to drop another one. It automatically adds a 1, but again, I highly recommend naming these because it could get messy super fast. So I'm going to go to where he stops and move the interest close to him. Okay, because we need the next shot to be looking at him. Okay. We'll select the camera and bring it forward. So now what does that camera look like? Camera 1. Ooh, it's way below. Okay. Can move in closer. It might be better to do this side because then we don't see Mr. Alien. So It's a little bit low, so I'm gonna raise them up a little bit. It's fine. Okay, so one thing I forgot. So we did the resolution on the first camera. Unfortunately, you need to do it again for each camera. You need to put the same resolution and the same settings. So only on the camera, you don't need to do anything on the interest. So I would put what was it? 1280 by 720. 1280, 720, and put this one on. So you'll know exactly what that in a second. 1280, 720. What this thing is, the square safe area is your rendering for TV screens. So anything between the red and the yellow is safe. So anything outside the red, you probably won't see on a TV. So keep this in mind. I suggest maybe not for this assignment, but for later, because we want to look at it on the projector in the last class. So use this to your advantage because it will show you where the cutoff frame is. Otherwise, it'll help you with the framing as well. And one last thing, you need to remove the grid. Yeah, I forgot about that. Remove the grid from the cameras. So width 1280, height 720. Remove the grid. Put on the square safe area. That's pretty much it. Okay, so we go back to this and we just check what that camera looks like. It's not bad. He comes in, rolling in, and stops. Yeah, the stopping is kind of in your face, so we can move this camera a little bit backwards. Yeah. There we go. So now, if we see the jump in, oh, it works, kind of works. So it's okay, we can keep it for this case. We just need maybe a more dramatic camera for the the punch, because yeah. So we can just create one more camera. Actually, I'm gonna try something. I can duplicate these. Let's see if that works. So if I select the last camera and the interest and go duplicate, ooh, it works. There you go. So interest, can I move this? And camera. There you go. So you can duplicate it and rename it, because then you won't have to do all the settings again, because the settings are duplicated from the previous one. Okay? So you duplicate it, you rename it, and you displace it wherever you need to. Okay? So I'm going to choose the second camera, the new one, and then offset them a little bit. See what that looks like, the punch. There you go. I think it's good. I'm just gonna wrap it up in the next 10 minutes. So we have all the cameras, one animated camera. You can go more than one animated camera if you want to be a little bit ahead. But I just showed you how to keyframe. Basic keys, you know, press K, move the camera, key it. That's all you need to do. Move the interest, key it. That's all you need to do. So you have 4 cameras in the scene. There's a nice tool inside Motionbuilder where you preview each camera in one big track. Okay? So that thing is called camera switcher. If you go on cameras, double click on camera switcher, you have all your cameras lined up. Those are the 4 cameras we created. So right now the camera switcher is not animated, but what you could do is you can animate where you want the cuts, basically. Okay, so let's say you want on this frame to be on the first shot, obviously. So you key. Oh, that's not how it works. Okay, haven't done this in a while too, so bear with me. So you got a frame 0. That's your first shot, key. And then you go to the next shot where you want the camera to start transitioning. Okay? You select your next shot, press key again. See, it switches. And then you go, let's say here, select your next shot, key. And on the last one is the punch. Maybe you want to switch around here. Oh, undo, select the last one, key. So now you're saying, how can I preview all these cuts? Again, it's a camera mode. So you need to change to something called camera switcher. So in view, it's right under the, you know where you are switching the cameras in here, perspective? It's actually outside. It's called camera switcher right there. So if you select this viewport, view, camera switcher, and you press play, it plays all those cuts that you just created. Cool? So if you're not happy about a certain cut, so let's say in here, you want to cut a little bit later. You can take this one and just drag it. So now maybe I dragged too much. So it's hard. You don't have like a UI that you're right on the cut, but just put your mouse there and just drag it back and forth to get the cut that you want. I know it's a jump cut, so don't judge me. So always, I don't know, did somebody tell you about jump cuts in the other classes a little bit? No? Okay. It's okay. This class, maybe I'll give you a crash course maybe in 3 weeks once we start building the stuff. Yeah. Yes, that's the last thing I want to show you before 5 o'clock. Okay, so now you press play and you should see a little bit smoother cutting. Yeah. Okay. So to render this stuff, I'm going to save. File, render. You don't have much choice. Keep it in AVI. Output file, go to your project folder. Create a new folder called render. And call it Dark City. Name it as the same file as the assembly. Go with increments too. It will be better because then something happened to one of them, you still have a backup. Start and last frame. I think this is okay. Total frames to render 401, so that should be good. Render using Motionbuilder from camera, 32-bit. Current viewing mode, it's good. Current stereo mode, it should be good. Because sometimes it's rendering in stereo. I would actually, let's try active. I'm going to change it to active. And That should be it. Let's try. So because there's a Moodle 500 megabyte limit, I need you guys. Yeah, it just hangs for a little bit. I need you guys to convert it. Either convert it in Premiere to MPEG 4, or let's see what that looks like before. C. No, it was D. Mobile render and the final film. My beautiful film. There you go. See the cutoff point, I think. Yeah, it's not a great cut. Well, it's okay. You can add lights, but I wouldn't. I would just focus on this for the next one. If you want to take a step ahead and add lights. See, right now it's 530 MB. So what I need you guys to do is either use Premiere or Handbrake. Weird name, I know. So this guy is a free converter. Download. It's really simple to use. You guys know how to use Premiere to convert? No? Okay, so then use this one. Oh, it's already installed. Ooh, no. Cancel. Maybe it's already installed. So if you click Windows S, Handbrake, you drag and drop the file, the AVI. You choose MPEG 4. You choose the output folder. Joe Mobile Renders. Use the same name. I'm too lazy, so I'm going to copy paste. MPEG 4, save. So, and then you click Start Encode. This is a nice software because you could batch. If you have multiple AVIs, you can batch them. So I highly recommend using this software. So now it's MPEG 4. Oh, from half a gig to 1 megabyte. I'm skeptical. What do you know? It works. So it's not bad. It maintains the resolution. It's pretty good. I would go with 1080 920 because it's very small. If you guys want to change the resolution, instead of 1024, was it 1280? Shit, I'm so bad with numbers. 1024, I think it was, right? 1280? Yeah. 1280 by 720, yeah. So that's it, 5 o'clock, yay, break, and you can start doing this. I'll post the video in 5 minutes. Thank you guys.